Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. Cindy here from CLB Craft Creations, and today we're going to be doing a mass-produced thank you card. I'm actually creating a basket for a charity auction that my brother and sister-in-law are running for their medical foundation. So they asked if I wanted to contribute a basket, and of course I did. So my basket is birthday and thank you themed. And of course everybody needs thank you cards, so I wanted to do something, and I wanted to make it a nice basket, so I'm trying to really mass produce a lot of things. So this card is something that I came up with because I thought it's definitely gender neutral, so anyone could give it and anyone could receive it. And you can change it up for any colors that you want. So this one is featuring Night of Navy, but it also has that chevron embossed texture, which I think is very popular. I'm using the Sophisticated Serifs alphabet stamp to do the thanks, and these are all the lower, or not the lowercase, but the smaller of the letters instead of the bigger. I wanted to do the T bigger, but when I looked at it, it just didn't look right on the card because they're just too big. So I'm going to do these all in Night of Navy, and I wanted to show you the process in which I make my mass-produced cards. So I've already gone ahead and done some steps ahead of time. So the set's going to be a set of 5. So this is actually my sample one, which is the 5th card. And then what I've already done is I've cut down my Whisper White cardstock, and I have 4 card bases, which are cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And you just basically take a sheet of paper, score it at 4 1/4, and then turn it and cut it at 5.5, and you do that with 2 sheets. So now that's my card bases. And then I took another, with just 1 sheet of cardstock, and I cut that down to 4 by 5 1/4, so my standard layering pieces. We're going to go ahead and bring in the Big Shot with the chevron embossing folder, and we're going to whip this through. Now, this may be a little longer than most of my videos just because I want to show the step from start to finish. So I'm taking this. Now, this does not fit. You have to be careful with how you put this on. This does not fit if you have your paper too far out, and it does not fit sideways. For some reason, this one is just a little bit too wide, and it gets caught in the machine. So what I did is I designed this card so that I could just get it through and still have space at the top to stamp my sentiment. So I'm using, for this one, I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the chevrons. And then I'm going to put so I've got my multi-purpose platform. I have no tabs on this one. For some reason, the Whisper White paper was it was not coming out as nicely as I wanted it to. So I'm just going to sandwich this in there, and it does line up just perfectly. So you make your sandwich. So my multi-purpose platform, a cutting plate, a clear plate, the embossing folder, and then the top plate. Okay, and then I'm just going to run that through. Okay, and then it just gives a nice texture. Okay, so that's one. And then I'm just going to go through and do this with all of them. So if you want to... And these do not have to be exact. That's the beauty of handmade cards. Should be. So all of them, I don't have any more card bases, do I? Nope, I got all of them done. Okay, so that piece is done relatively quickly. Get this out of the way. My card bases. We'll leave those aside for right now. Do our stamping next. Okay, and I like there's definitely 2 sides. I like it where the embossing is raised, the top piece is raised rather than recessed, so you can tell that there is one side to the other. Okay, so there's my 4 pieces. Now I've gone ahead and actually already mounted my letters. Obviously, it does take a little bit of time to make sure that you line it up. What I did is I took my T-ruler, my T-square ruler, and I just lined that up. And I kind of just lined up my letters, just kind of gave them a little push with my ruler once I kind of lined them up the way I wanted them. And then I stamped my block right on top of them so that it secured them to the block. So although it was a little time consuming because they kept sticking to my fingers, it went pretty quickly. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this with Night of Navy. I'm just going to ink that up. And you can use any color you want. That's the beauty of having it white on white. And then I'm just going to center that from side to side, and then centering it from the top of the chevron with the top of the card. Okay. And I'm going to try not to mess this up. I think that one may have been crooked. It's a little crooked over there. That's okay. I can fix that one before I put it in my basket. Or make it a set of 4 instead of 5. But again, I'm using kind of my grid lines to make sure that it's lined up. And then it actually looks like my T is what is the problem here. Sorry. Okay. And then we're just going to continue stamping these. The thing with mass production that we need to remember is that you do things in stages and steps. So to save yourself on time, you do all of one step and then you move on to the next. That way you're not going back and forth. So you cut all your bases, you cut all your layering pieces, do all your embossing, do all your stamping, and then your assembly. Okay, that is my last one. And voila. Okay. Now we're just left with assembly. So I'm going to bring in my card bases. I'm going to go ahead and fold those. I'm actually going to use my bone folder because I want them to lay nice and flat. And you could have done this after you scored and cut them. Bases are ready, and because I used the embossing, I'm going to use my fast fuse. But the other element that you could do is you could also use dimensionals, and you could raise it. Because this is a charity basket, I also wanted to be considerate of my expenses as well. I mean, this is obviously not the only thing I'm putting in there, but if you were just doing this as a project for yourself and you wanted, I would probably, personally, I would raise them. I would put some dimensionals on the back, but this is, so that's basically your finished card. And then I'll go ahead and finish the rest. And it didn't actually take very long. There are plenty of ways that you could also dress this card up. So again, if you were using for your own personal use, you know, you could add ribbon, you could add twine. There's really endless possibilities. Because this is such a clean and simple look, again, I wanted to make sure that what I was providing was gender neutral so that whoever receives the basket could send the items in it to anyone. I mean, there are definitely some female themed products, and I probably will take a picture of the final basket once it's done and post it on my blog. But so now, in no time, I have a set of thank you cards, and I think they're really nice. I mean, I would be happy to receive something like this in the mail. So think about how you, so even though this sophisticated serif sets is actually more for like a monogramming set, I mean, I made the word thanks out of it. You could have done TU, you know, when you do your text lettering. So there's plenty of options. So anyway, I hope that you will give these a try. These were fun and easy, clean and simple, and they'll look really nicely in my basket. So please give this a thumbs up by clicking the button below. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any updated videos. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.